Okay. Today's topic is if extracurricular activities should be publicly funded. As president of the Center for Educational Equity and Excellence, I believe it should be because it would give all students an equal opportunity to play a sport or participate in a club without being limited due to family income. Here's Josh and his personal opinion.
Hi, Sammer. It's great to be here. My name is Dr. Joshua Wright, and I received a PhD from Stanford in psychology. I've been a psychologist here in Albuquerque for around 15 years now. My opinion on the subject is they should definitely be publicly funded because they provide a number of advantages to the youth here in Albuquerque, such as stress relief. It provides them with an opportunity to gain social skills, and it provides motivation in schools.
Okay. We're also here with Monique, an expert in this topic. How do you feel?
Hi, Summer. As City Council President, I disagree to publicly funding because raising taxes is a difficult process and the community may react against it.
Okay. And we also have here an expert in this. Her name is Cassandra. What's your opinion on it?
Hi, Sammer. As you know, my name is Cassandra Hahn. I was formerly a member of the NASSAP, as well as an educational researcher at the National Center for Educational Research and Development. Currently, I serve as the Director of Early Childhood Education at the NCER. So I understand the role extracurricular activities can play in a child's development, either physically, mentally, or educationally. And I know that there are benefits and drawbacks to such notions. So in that regard, I believe that extracurricular activities as a whole can offer those benefits to students in some regards. That's the notion I support wholeheartedly. It's the fact that those benefits can only apply to those who voluntarily choose to be there and participate that I have a problem with. Students have a choice to participate or not participate. So we have a division of students. One wants to participate, the other doesn't. So what do you do with that fundage? Do you raise funds for that student just in case they change their mind? Or do you give that to another student? How is that going to be worked out? For me, many students are being forced by their parents to participate. They don't even want to participate in such activities. In that regard, it's a compulsory activity and not a voluntary one. The forcing children to participate in an activity when they would rather be spending their time elsewhere, possibly even focusing on their studies or even working a part-time job, ultimately defeats the entire purpose of those activities because it fails to impart those same benefits that a student would get if they enjoy it for their personal reasons, for their own fun, rather than those students who choose to focus on their academics. The fact that such activities may be publicly funded makes no difference to those who are already academically or future-driven, regardless of their financial situation. And because such activities are for the most part for one's own personal enjoyment, I see no reason that the community or the state should have to provide money to fund those activities when they could use those funds elsewhere in the classrooms or lunch programs to cover something that's more meaningful, that's going to help boost a child's success in the future.
Okay, Monique, back to you. How do you feel these funds should be raised?
One of the main ideas would be to publicly fund by raising city taxes. This is a bad idea because people could try to report a lower income rate. And when people report a lower income rate, then they're not really being taxed the same amount. Also, raising taxes is a bigger issue because it could ruin the economy. If they raise taxes, there would be less revenue, which could make the city go into an effect like the Great Depression.
So even though there's a possibility it could be a hardship, we should raise taxes just enough so that we are raising money for the kids in need, and that it's not a detriment to the economy. Raising taxes results in additional revenue to pay for public programs, which could be used to maintain schools. The raise would be able to fund extracurricular activities. We could do a small raise on certain items then we should do a higher tax on items such as tobacco and other harmful products. This would raise money while also discouraging people from using them. So now with money in question, Josh, where do you think the money should be better spent?
Well, honestly, Summer, I don't think there is a much better place that the money could be spent. Let's take a look at one of the leading areas that needs more money, schools and their materials. Now, even though this is a great place for the money to go, and I agree with that, it wouldn't be as beneficial as funding public activities. Just for a sec, I'd like to refer to my area of expertise. I've been a psychologist for almost 15 years now, and I've helped a lot of people. But over this amount of time, you also realize that you can only help the people that want to be helped. Now, if you take this into the school's perspective, you can't teach a kid that doesn't want to learn. So all the materials in the world is not going to help that kid want to learn. If you fund public activities, it's going to give the kid motivation to do his homework, to be better in school, and to go home to his parents and want to strive for better things.
Okay, with that, Cassandra, what's your take on it?
I understand where you're coming from, Josh, but as I see it, you have to give that student the opportunity, the chance to try different programs to help them learn. They may not learn one way, but if you don't give them the materials or the chance to learn a different way, then they don't get that motivation. They don't get that chance to want to learn. So in that aspect, from there, I know education often takes a backseat to extracurricular activities in terms of both funding and popularity. Today, I know very many educational institutions from across the country struggle to stretch their funding to cover the programs that they have already instituted, but they often fall short of the expenditures they need to cover all operations. Students are left to take the fall for that in this educational standpoint. They don't get as much individualized attention, or they don't get programs that are individualized towards how they learn themselves, to be able to want that willingness to learn. And this is excruciatingly evident in the area of standardized testing. According to the National Education Report conducted by Education Week's Quality Counts, New Mexico is ranked 49th in the nation, just barely ahead of Nevada and Mississippi, and it has received a grade of a D+ in terms of student success. That's nearly 11 points behind the nation's average of a 77.3. With these statistics, clearly students are missing out on vital components of their education. It's not about whether or not they want to learn, the willingness they want to learn, they don't have the materials to do so. The additional funding set aside for such secondary school activities therefore could be utilized elsewhere, specifically in the classroom, to increase the level of learning, to provide those other opportunities for students to succeed, to create more efficient and specified programs that can better meet the needs of the individual. In this way, we can better prepare New Mexico students for their future.
Another big question is how many kids are unable to afford to participate. Now, income-based differences in extracurricular participation are on the rise. This difference worsens the already growing income achievement gap that has kept poor children behind in schools and later in life, while upper and middle-class students have become more active in school clubs and sports teams. These gaps are due to social class and not race or ethnicity. With this, New Mexico has the highest share of poor people at 22%. Also, 30% of children in New Mexico live in poverty, which is the second highest in the United States. For many children, the cost of sports teams and school clubs has risen, which has made extracurricular activities a luxury that their parents cannot afford.
I understand where you're coming from, Simon. But although using taxes to allow children to participate, it would make it harder for the parents that are impoverished because they would also have to pay taxes. Raising taxes is a lengthy process that could take up to a year, while fundraising and community events could happen sooner.
Okay, thanks, Monique. On to our next issue. Josh, so can you briefly describe the psychological benefits of participating in extracurricular activities at a young age?
Of course. So being a psychologist, you come to realize that many people develop their issues at a young age. Youth are very impressionable, and given their life experiences at this age, they can either come into a lot of problems or it can set them up for success for their entire lives. So extracurricular activities are a great foundation for this because it, one, provides them an escape from whether that be they're not doing good in school, they're not making friends, or just problems at home. It also provides a stress relief. You can go out and play one of your favorite sports or just hang out with friends, whatever you want to do. It also provides motivation for kids, as I said in a previous question. They will be more likely to do their homework on time when it's due and also get better grades. This is setting them up to go to college, for a good job, it's pleasing their parents, everything. Extracurricular activities could be the basis for a successful future for many kids.
And your take, Cassandra, on this?
So, extracurricular activities can have a positive effect on a student's behavior, their motivation, their social skills. It can also have a negative impact as well. Providing such funds could negatively affect a student in a way that it's altering their sense of hard work, their self-discipline, even their motivation. The availability of those funds could actually harm a student's work ethic and make them believe that they no longer need to work as hard or put in as much effort to achieve the things they want because it's just going to be handed to them. It's going to be there and they don't have to do much work to get it.
Thank you, Cassandra. And now back to you, Josh. How do educators benefit?
Well, the main way they're going to benefit is through the kids' attitudes. The kids are going to want to come to school. They're going to want to hang out with their friends. They're going to want to learn and share what they learn with their new friends in these extracurricular activities. They're going to be more outgoing. They're going to want to go to college, whether it be for their extracurricular activity they're participating in, to hang out with more friends and meet new people, or for their future successful job.
And back to you, Cassandra, how do you feel about the educators benefiting from this?
From an educational standpoint, educators and students alike can both gain a more relaxed and comfortable learning environment through the use of those funds being put back into the classroom instead of being used for outside extracurricular activities. In that way, it can have a positive effect on the student's ability to learn and retain information in the fact that they get more materials, more individualized attention, more programs that the teachers can utilize to help that student learn, to help them grow and have motivation to be something better, to succeed.
Okay, thank you, Cassandra. Monique, how do you think the community is going to respond to this issue?
The community would be rather upset because many of the public don't want to have extra money taken out of their pockets. Some of the public may try to avoid paying the taxes by reporting lower income, and then it would also make it harder for people to purchase items, so they may not want to spend their business in our town and take it to a different city, causing less revenue.
Okay, but coming from my area of expertise and being the president of the Center for Educational Equity and Excellence for over 20 years, I believe that the community will respond positively because participating in sports teams and clubs brings a positive influence to kids' lives and is benefit later in life. They are able to keep lifelong skills and friendships that they will cherish for the rest of their lives. And as we conclude this issue, I'd like to thank Dr. Wright, Head of City Council Monique, and Cassandra for joining us today to talk about this issue. Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.